Welcome, fam. This is Courtney Russell Jr., and I'm here with my co-host, Emily Braucher.
Welcome to Humanize.
We are two Americans with totally different backgrounds and life experiences.
We're coming together on this podcast to dive right at the heart of the three things that shut down tough conversations about race: culture, power, and ego.
The stories you are about to hear are meant to humanize those deeply involved in social justice. Welcome to the work, y'all. Let's get it. Yo, what's going on, family? Humanize, the podcast, those individuals who are changing the world in real time. We're here in hopes to bring you the consistency that you deserve with the issues of paramount importance. Before we begin, though, I just want to make sure you guys know that Emily and I are in partnership, and we've given each other permission to be as straightforward, as explicit, and do whatever it takes because of the relationship that we fostered to address these issues, no matter how uncomfortable. We've given each other that permission. So when you're trying to address these kind of issues, please make sure that the person is not being taken advantage of, and you humanize that experience. Ha ha, you like that one? Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
So Courtney, this is going to be our first full episode that we're putting on YouTube. We have season 1 through 5 on all the normal podcast streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere.
It's a new era.
It's a new era. It's a new era. There's video included. I feel like it might be good to just take a couple minutes and give people a little history, tiny bit of both of our who we are and how we came together on this podcast. Do you want to kick it off? Bring us back to 2020 or introduce yourself, either one.
Both.
Okay.
Well, my name is Courtney Fitzgerald Russell Jr. Yes.
Ooh, I
Yes.
never knew.
Yes, I come from only the best, man.
Fitzgerald.
Yes. I am from Atlanta, Georgia, son of immigrants, and really proud of what it took to still be here and still be smiling, given the trajectory that was my life. And so I feel very hopeful during times like this that I survived to be the warrior for the marginalized. And the Humanized podcast was birthed in an effort to do something. I had never been in the podcasting space. I had never been this close with a white person to talk about these kind of issues. And in 2019, a coworker was trying to do some DEI work because that was around the time when DEI was coming up, and I'm always trying to push something in the space of innovation. And I said, look, I would love to facilitate ways to bring communities together. And Emily, you and I met during that time by the coworker, and then COVID hit, and everyone was like, look, I got to take care of my family. I got to take care of my family. And I was up here and my family's in Atlanta. And I said, you know what? I feel really drawn to this for some reason. And I feel like this will be a great time to learn what it is, to get in the space of talking about issues. And so I did research on what is a podcast. At least you said that you'll get back to me about this podcasting thing.
Oh, I was like, Courtney, you should do a podcast.
Yeah,
I gotta go over here and do something
Exactly.
else.
Exactly. You said, but I'll call you back. I thought I'd never see you again. I was like, well, there it is. So
That was it.
you called me. You say, you know what? In my mind, this is what I heard you say. Man, let's do that shit.
Maybe not my
Exactly.
vernacular, but that's how
what
you
I
heard
said.
it.
That's what I heard. And so one thing led to another. And it was amazing because that's how our relationship grew by creation of the Humanize podcast and creating episodes. So in real time, we were putting episodes online while getting to know each other, your beautiful family, you understanding my family. We actually did podcasts with my little sister.
That was our first
That
guest
was
podcast.
crazy. That was crazy. And
That's
so
fun.
like just for you to have been in my family. And then um, I go home sometimes and people listen to the podcast, and now you are in my space,
Yeah,
talking. So now you're part of the family. Like people know you that you have never seen in your life. So you know
I
what I'm
love
saying?
that.
That's cool.
I
So
love
it
it.
just been a thing. And then to present, I'm just accelerating. And just to present, I feel really blessed and drawn. And to have had that break from the podcast, it shows me that I need it so much. Given
Hmm.
the world that we're in, there are a lot of podcasts out there. And of course, I'm being biased because this is our thing. But I don't feel like there's a space where two people from the demographics that we own and have can speak on issues that they are similar, but they're different. The
Hmm.
perspectives are different because we're in different places in our life. We
Hmm.
hold different identities. And so I appreciate how you allow me to be me. And I hope I open up and create a space where you can be yourself as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great intro. It was a
Hey,
great
yo, I
intro.
do this, man.
We've been doing this for 6 years now.
Hey,
100 episodes in, something like that, which
man.
is incredible. Yeah, and just so like a bit of my background, I'm from the Boston area, kind of did the traditional Northeast upbringing of, you know, go to school in the suburbs, went to boarding school, went to Ivy League school, like very tracked education focused, and keep your head down and try to succeed financially. Um, and I went into the Peace Corps and realized there's a lot of other ways of being in the world. And eventually, my path took me to focusing in on intercultural communication and collaboration. Um, and for the last 15 years now, I've been working in the DEI space with companies and nonprofits. And then more recently, really transitioning into the leadership space. So doing training, coaching for organizations who are trying to be companies where people are proud to work there and
Yeah.
they feel good. And especially in the climate space. So with a lot with climate organizations. And yeah, I feel like when we met, I was just at a place where I was like, I I I need to put more skin in the game. I need to like really focus on like understanding the world around me, right? Like in my school, all of this like education school system, I don't think I ever really appreciated. So I'm, an anthropologist. I'm like, I don't think I ever really appreciated Black culture in the US as like a culture to be like, wow, this is like a totally different culture, different norms, different expectations. And like, I need to not just assume similarity, assume that I know what's going on. And I think through our conversations, even though they're uncomfortable at times, and even though I call you sometimes afterwards and I'm like, oh, we're not producing that. I'm so embarrassed. I like a hangover. What did I say? Um, it creates so much meaning. And like I feel like that is our task right now in a world where so often there are these crises, these events, like again and again and again, where the natural reaction is to be like, what's the point? What's the point? There's no meaning, there's no purpose. And
Yeah.
then we come together and we create meaning again. And that is like so energizing. Um, so yeah,
I love that. I
brief
love that.
history of Humanize.
I love that. I love
Okay, so
that.
today's
What you got?
podcast.
What you got to
So
say?
one of the things that is fun about Courtney and my dynamic is Courtney loves to be surprised with a good question. And this is a question that has been on my mind recently. I'll give a little bit of context. So I have two younger kids, they're 8 and 10, and we have been reading this really great series of books called The Front Desk, which is about a Chinese immigrant family and their experiences in LA area. And it talks about racism, it talks about classism, it talk, like just really great engaging story, and then also a ripe place for conversations. They have parents being deported, they have different things that are super relevant, even though it was like kind of took place in the 90s. um so yeah, I guess in the course of I don't know if what I'm going to ask you, you're like, no, this is so obvious, Emily. Yes. Here's my question. should i should I teach my kids the N word?
Boy, you just made my chest hot. Boy, woo. Damn. That's loaded.
It
That's a,
is.
oh, okay. Hold on. Hold on.
I'll share my thoughts later, but I want to hear like your unfiltered, without any
Um,
clauses.
the historical significance, definitely.
Hmm.
How it's used to separate and to other and to make less than 100%.
Hmm.
Um, Also letting them know that is not their word to use
Hmm.
simultaneously
Hmm.
because it's just like sex or cocaine or something. If you hide from the reality, a lot of times it becomes this mystical thing that's secretive and fun to do in secret, you know? And
Yeah.
so addressing it real time when you feel is most appropriate, but making sure that is something because they will hear it, see it being used, and wonder why they never learned about that from a mother who said she's in that space
Hmm.
and father. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
I think you guys should speak on it unapologetically and very upfront, but understanding that that's not their word to use.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, it's just it is understanding the significance of it, but also knowing that having respect for that. You
Hmm.
know, that's would be my suggestion and hope for you as you are someone that I know, trust, and care about. Like I can know in the world, hey yo, you know a white mother who has white kids who wouldn't just be throwing around the N-word with their white friends, I would raise my hand.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
and I would hope I wouldn't be wrong.
No. Yeah.
You know
I
what
mean,
I'm
I don't know if I've
saying?
ever even said the word
You know what
literally.
I mean? And so like I would first off, we're on a podcast that says the humanize,
Uh-huh.
humanizing experiences. That word in its totality was brilliantly denotes a way to take the humanity from another person and to let them feel as though I'm better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a person that is aligned with someone like myself, just and it would be very hypocritical for me to even continue on any kind of relationship with you, knowing that you don't know the significance of that. That would change how I viewed you as a
Mm-hmm.
person. I would never
Mm-hmm.
stop caring about you as a human, but we couldn't be in the same dynamic anymore because there's certain things that you would if you heard a Courtney was over there brutalizing women, you're like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that
Right.
that's so but if you would probably still care, but we would be in a different type of relationship then if that was the case for me. That you heard
Mm-hmm.
that and it actually was the case that I was doing that. And you're like, damn, so what were we doing for the last 5 years?
Right. Right.
You know,
Totally.
so there's certain unspoken like laws that we don't. I don't have to. If I had to come on here and say, "Hey, Emily, I hope you know that you can't say the N word," like I would think that we need to
We need
wrap it
we
up.
need a reset. We need to
Yeah.
rewind.
So that's where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And in short,
Yeah.
yes, I think it should be spoken about, understood, talked about, but also
Hmm.
know the heaviness of the word and how it's not. It's something that should not be used by the identity that your children own, and they are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess this like so part of my motivation is in thinking about teaching it to them. Like I want them to, if they hear it, know that they need to step in, right?
Mhm.
Like know that this is not okay because if they don't know what it is, they're just going to be like, they
Yeah.
could probably in a tense situation realize that someone
Yeah.
is weaponizing this word, but that's a lot to expect
Yeah.
um, to make some guesses in a tense situation. But at least they could tell a teacher, right? Like
Yeah.
this was said. Um, this there's parts of this when I think about it that so one of the things that I've heard people say before is like, a lot of Black kids are like forced to grow up faster because their parents need to have the talk with them and talk about police and talk about these hard issues. And as a white parent, I kind of have this, well, I do have this privilege of like, especially because I live in Boulder and we're not immersed in a very diverse population of like, okay, when do I introduce this? Right. And um, this conversation is, in my mind, so nuanced, right? Of like what you just said. You need to know the historical context of this word, how it was weaponized, and that you can't use it. Um, like, is there an appropriate age to introduce that? Like, part of me is fearful that the younger kid will like get confused with it.
Yeah. Um, it's almost like when people say, "I feel uncomfortable in conversations dealing with slavery." I say, "You should be uncomfortable."
Yeah, right,
Because I don't know what else to say. And
right.
so the confusion, you're always confused until you're not. When you start in school, you don't know how to read. You're confused that a whole bunch of things are on this page that
Mm-hmm,
people are telling me are words. And until you start to decode those words and start to read, then you find out, oh, okay, that's and, that's sentence, that is a period. Like it has to be decoded. And the actual age, the chronological age, it's difficult. It's based on the level that the child is at mentally. Everyone, you could be 5 years old. Have you ever talked to those 3-year olds that you feel like, what the hell? I'm having a whole conversation with a 3-year-old. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like,
they're just old souls.
oh, so you may be
Yeah.
able to have this conversation with a 5-year-old who is on that level. But then
Mm-hmm,
someone like me who took a longer time, you could be like 8, 9 years old to have serious conversations with because
mm-hmm.
of how their brains are, you know? And so you would only know which one of your children are ready for that type of thing. But I would say
Mm-hmm.
how do you know that they haven't already heard that word?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know
Well,
what I
I
mean?
mean, well, here's the thing: is they have in because Sam listens to a lot of rap, like a
Yeah.
lot, and like until now, we've been, and so this is an interesting thing. We've been okay with them listening to like rap music that has swears in it because we're basically teaching them. This is very similar. Of like, there are times where it's not okay to use that word. Like you can learn that word, and I can trust you to not be using it in school. But
See?
until now, they haven't known what this word is. So they're going to hear it in these songs and have questions about that too.
Mhm. Man, first sidebar, I need to know what playlist Sam is going crazy on
Oh,
because he
well,
loving out.
Brooklyn loves Kanye.
Oh,
I mean, loves Beastie Boys,
Yeah,
loves
well,
like just
oh,
I mean she
okay. Okay, Brooklyn. All right. You know what would be a
no
crazy
sleep till
thing?
Brooklyn, you know?
No,
Like that's what got her hooked.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Um, so damn, that's such a great question. Is there is no age. I think
Hmm.
when they ask, that's the age.
What if they never ask? Like I don't know if my friends are
Uh,
gonna
that's what I'm
oh
saying.
when
I
they
don't
ask about the
know.
music, when
Yeah,
they ask about the music,
the
right?
music.
When they pick it up and they're
Yeah. Or if they say it, you say, "Hey, you know what that word means? Do you
hmm
understand what it?" And then that's not a word to see. Then it's like it's a hard question to ask because only you and Sam would know the entry point and when it's time to talk about it. If they have no reference point or they don't bring it up, it's kind of difficult. Now, if they 15, 16 and they've never talked about it, it may be like, okay, cool, you got to know about it now. So we got to talk about this.
right. I think they're completely kids showing up in college who haven't talked about it, who
Yeah,
haven't been exposed to the Holocaust, you know, who
that's
haven't like
dangerous.
we it is dangerous. And
Yeah.
like we this is also relevant because yesterday in school, my fourth grader was taught about the Sand Creek massacre. And so she's like, this doesn't seem appropriate for school. And so we've had a lot of conversation of like, this is very we need to learn about this. We must learn about it. We must be exposed. We have to understand
Mhm.
the circumstances of greed and hatred that led to that, and then we can stand to like not stand for greed and hatred. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of other ways of approaching it too.
Yeah,
Um,
so you and Sam are brilliant enough to know when that time is right. I
mhm,
can't tell you because I don't live the day to day of Dakota and Brooklyn like you guys do.
mhm,
You know what I mean?
right,
So it could be a time y'all are driving back in the car and Sam going crazy in front seat to Kanye and Brooklyn belted out, you know what I mean? And you stop the car and be like, hey, yo, let's talk about what we just said. You know what I mean? So
right, right,
or just at
right.
around a dinner table. So I don't know
Yeah,
when, but it's definitely please, yes, talk to them about everything surrounding the N word.
yeah. I'm curious. So when I'm thinking about this and thinking about like some of our listeners who might be like, well, what are the essential elements to include? It seems to me like what is the word, how it was used?
Hmm.
B, that it's not appropriate for someone who's white to use this word. And I'll just speak for myself. There's lots of other ethnicities out there. Um, and then C, it is used. Like this is how it's reappropriated and like
Yeah.
find a better terminology.
I
Okay.
love how white people always have to have a cookbook
Yes.
for everything. Can you give me an A, B, C, D? No, I don't
This is
know.
where I'm coming from on that, is because we've missed the point. Like we lost the plot, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like white people have, we've talked about this before, like white people have dehumanized themselves by existing in such a way that they're, we're dehumanizing others so routinely and
Yeah.
embodying this supremacy. So in my mind, it's like, oh, in the biggest way we fucked up.
Yeah.
And like how do we crawl out of this, you know, like
Yeah.
almost like our like my instincts feel wrong because I've been enculturated into this supremacy mindset. So that I think
Yes.
that's why I'm always like, let me make sure I'm not missing any of the points.
And it's not a problem, but I do want to say at this point that the events that just happened a couple days ago in Minnesota shows that white people are not the problem.
Mm.
Whiteness is the
Hmm.
problem,
Right,
right? And
right.
because people always love to say, Courtney, or individuals who move in the space of always bringing race into it, that I'm demonizing white people.
Mm.
No,
Mm-mm.
that's not my point is to show that whiteness, you could be black and live in whiteness.
Right.
Like I profit and have benefited from whiteness,
Mhm.
right? So I'm not saying that like I'm even free from whiteness.
Can you say more about how you've profited and benefited from whiteness?
I became a doctor. Very
Uh-huh.
simple.
Hmm.
Like it's if I live by a capitalistic in a capitalistic world. I
Hmm.
get I get funds at times or have got money at times from ideology that I have to be to get this money and take it from you in order to survive. If I
Hmm.
was 100% free of that, my whole life would be different. I don't
Hmm.
even think I could possibly, I probably would have never, I wouldn't have not never became a doctor.
Hmm.
Medicine is steeped and based in and rooted in white supremacy.
In
That's
what way? Wait, say more.
the practice of medicine was done so on black and brown bodies, mainly women.
Mm.
The book was made and we study based on how medicine shows up for white men and women.
Hmm.
A lot of times, as black physicians, we have to have a different layer of understanding to treat black and brown bodies because that a lot of that time it comes through experience, not through the book. Because the
Mm.
book, we're educated to make sure we understand how to treat white bodies,
Mm.
even how the skin shows up in the medical anatomical books. It's white men. So someone as dark as myself, we're showed how to test for hydration. Unless you know that, you can't test for hydration the same way on my dark skin.
Yeah,
Because if I pulled your skin up, I will be able to see blood flow. You put my skin up, I'm the melanin, I'm so dark that you won't be able to see that.
right.
Right. So unless you have done that, sometimes right out the gate, I wouldn't have known that just leaving med school.
Mm. Yeah,
Right.
I
And
saw
so,
someone post the other day an image of, when you have the like, I don't even know what it's called, the side cut of like a pregnant woman where you
yeah.
see her belly and you see the
Hmm.
fetus. And
Hmm.
someone posted a black image of that. And it was like, who has ever seen this? All white, all babies and bellies are white. And I'm like, oh, that's so true.
See?
That is so true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. And so the just I just wanted to insert that because people love on podcasts like this to say there's another one. There's those people again talking about how much you hate white people. And I'm here to say it's not a hatred of white people, it's hatred of a system that elevates a group of individuals above others.
Right.
That's,
And normalizes that
and normalizes them.
and just said, okay, that is the norm, and then there's deviations from the norm, and then
Yes.
that's yes, yeah, yeah. And I think one of the benefits of DEI coming under attack, and um, certainly I can't think of any benefits of all the protections for civil rights being dismantled, but in terms of working with businesses, um, is that actually we weren't talking about the same thing. When I told people I worked in DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, I think there was a very big percent of the population, and I can tell you this from the way that people reacted to me if I was like at a cocktail party, that were like, "You're about to tell me I'm bad because I'm a white person," and that was appropriated as the way people are thinking about it. And now I can say, no, what I do in leadership is I help people step into the hard conversations. I don't know what's going to happen in that hard conversation. Like, you may get called out, you may not. You may have a transformative experience by learning about someone else's experience, but that's the only benefit I see is I see practitioners like drilling down and being like, no, this is what I'm really talking about. And other people are like, no, this is really what I'm talking about. And so um yeah, that assumption of like it is the problem is white people that's
No,
been holding us back. That's
no.
been holding the whole conversation back.
No, because the woman that died in Minnesota because of the ICE agent, I'm not rushing to any judgment of how he felt. I wasn't there. What she felt, she passed. God, pray for her and her family. But she was a white woman.
Right,
So it's not a white black thing. It's a system issue.
right.
And until we address a system of ignorance and power hoarding and resource hoarding and understanding that no one or no community is trying to replace another community. Everyone is just looking to be humanized.
Hmm.
Like we're gonna continue the cycle of this.
Yeah, yeah.
That's yeah.
Okay, um, so I guess I'm gonna have a conversation with my kids, and I'm gonna tell you how it goes.
I would love to see that. I mean to hear about that because man, I
Yeah,
always love to see when kids are first exposed to something and start to gain an understanding and have because they have the best questions,
yeah, true.
and I would love to know what comes
What
out of
question?
those conversations and what questions. Yes, please, part B to this, please.
Part B, part B. Okay, awesome. Anything else before we close out?
Nah, man, I love this. We're gonna keep this going, and hopefully we can find creative ways to engage with our audience and make this the experience that it's supposed to be.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those of you who have listened, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That helps us a lot. And share this if you feel like it might be a good conversation starter. Someone else.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good
Oh,
day.
appreciate you, family.